everyone, and welcome to Season 4, Episode 18 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Lucha Underground history with match number 33 on our list, which is a Lucha Underground title match between the champion, the monster Matanza Cueto, and the challenger Cage from the June 1st, 2016 edition of Lucha Underground titled Judgment Day, which is a great title for this episode because it ties into Brian Cage's, Terminator-style character that he had in Lucha Underground. This match is just a great hoss battle. We've seen Brian Cage do a lot of these match types before in Impact Wrestling with Michael Elgin. He'd done it quite a bit in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla with guys like Chris Dickinson and Tommaso Ciampa and, Elgin there as well. And here he did it with Jeff Cobb, who is someone that he is not unfamiliar with. In fact, the first time that Jeff Cobb really got on a lot of our radar was when APW revived the King of the Indies tournament, which was a big deal, 2000, 2001 in the California area. They revived it at WrestleMania weekend, and this was a quarterfinal or first round match in that tournament, and both of these guys went all out. And again, it really, Brian Cage was an established talent, Jeff Cobb was not. It really made a lot of us, that aren't from the California area take notice of Jeff Cobb, and that would lead to these big opportunities for him, getting to work Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, being on Lucha Underground, ultimately, getting the Ring of Honor deal and the New Japan deal, and, everywhere his career would lead him from there. This match was Brian Cage cashing in the Gift of the Gods title that he had recently won from Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero won, the match to determine the new Gift of the Gods champion. We've talked about, the 7 ancient Aztec medallions that comprise that title, leading to a 7-way match to determine the champion. Chavo, kind of won that. A lot of us were like, Chavo Guerrero, not the greatest character in Lucha Underground. He served his place, I suppose, but I don't think anybody wanted the potential of him, being in the title picture. So, a week after he won that title, steamrolled by Brian Cage, who, I think fans were a lot more, satisfied with him being the Gift of the Gods champion. Cage wasted no time, though, said he was going to cash in the Gift of the Gods and challenge Matanza for the title. It would be the quickest cash-in since the competitor had become Gift of the Gods champion that we had had yet. So he cashes it in here. Ultimately, he would be the first competitor to not successfully cash in that, title shot. He would lose this match, but this is a great showcase for Cage. Matanza had debuted at Ultima Lucha 2, winning the Lucha Underground title in his first match and had been steamrolling everybody in his path since. This was the first match, though, although he wins, that it really started to feel like he could be in trouble. And again, even in a losing effort, it made Brian Cage look spectacular. This match is really meant to showcase him, as well as, showcase Matanza as the unstoppable killing machine that he is as the Lucha Underground champion. The opening of this match is just really cool because they do the typical, irresistible force, meaning the immovable object, power exchange of shoulder blocks and things like that, showing that neither guy has the advantage. So Brian Cage goes Lucha Libre. He hits a quesadora into an arm drag, a big satellite head scissors, a tope con hilo to the floor, and then a moonsault from the top rope to the floor. Super unexpected for him to do that. I've seen him do it a couple of times, but it always kind of comes out of nowhere and comes across really, really cool. So I loved seeing that here. We get big power offense on the floor. Cage hits a powerbomb into the rails on Matanza, but wastes time, pulling up the protective mats outside the ring. A powerbomb on there goes awry, where Matanza ends up hitting his rolling gut-wrench suplexes on the floor. The third gets countered by Cage. He goes for his big discus lariat on the floor, but it's ducked, and he eats a German suplex on the exposed floor, which looked wild. In the ring, the pace does get slowed down a little bit, where Matanza, really digs into his kind of just, monsterish self, and he pounds away and chokes and things like that. But he makes the mistake of, showing, even though he's a monster, I can do some high flying too. And the standing shooting star press gets blocked with a knee up to his head, which was a really cool counter that I liked. It wasn't, the typical knees to the gut that you would see. It was a knee to the head, so all the more powerful. Again, just power moves galore here. Cage comes back. He hits 20 lariats in the corner. Again, just showing, what he has to go through to try to stop this man. Matanza comes back with a pump handle suplex, but then Cage fires right back with a pump handle into a facebuster. If you're an old Ring of Honor fan, you might remember it as Xavier, rest in peace. Xavier's move called Kiss Your Ex Goodbye, which is, also a Cage signature. But for him to hit it on someone, is stocky and as powerful as Matanza, is really, really impressive. We get a German suplex exchange again, but this time, Cage manages to counter a German and hit his discus lariat for a big near fall for 2. Again, the opposite of what happened out on the floor, so it's that parallel, and Cage is really starting to build momentum here, and he gets so many big near falls with the crowd biting, thinking that they're going to get a new champion. He hits the deadlift superplex that he does. Again, incredible that he could hit that on someone of Cobb's size. He follows that up with a twisting elbow drop off the top rope, which was super weird and wacky and different and cool. It's only enough to get 2. He hits an Alabama slam. Again, a crazy move to hit on somebody Cobb's size, and a standing tuck moonsault, which is only good for 2. Matanza starts to come back and hits a bunch of suplexes and power bombs, but he goes for the Wrath of the Gods, right? His Tour of the Islands, kind of twisting power slam finish. Cage counters that into a small package for a super hot near fall off a 2, hits an F5 for another 2. It seems like Cage is well on his way to finally being the first person to defeat Matanza and win the title. He goes for a bunch of big strikes, but again, we go back to that discus lariat. It's countered into the Wrath of the Gods, which is the ultimate, murder, death, kill finish in the Lucha Underground universe at this point. It puts Cage away, and it's enough for the Monster Matanza to retain the Lucha Underground Championship once again. This match is just so fun. You know exactly what you're going to get from it. 2 absolute powerhouses dropping each other on their heads with suplexes, also adding in all of this great athleticism that both of these guys can do too, and it makes for a tremendously fun, compact main event. Lucha Underground, of course, if you have the Tubi app, depending on where you live, you might be able to find it on there, but if not, Google this match. You'll find it online. It is well worth your time. It is an absolute blast. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you don't miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.